In today's video, we're going to be taking a look here at the tropics. We do have Tropical Storm Felipe, and then we have another tropical storm out there in the Atlantic that we need to discuss. We're also going to be taking a look at the upcoming pattern where some major storm systems are going to be rolling through, especially later on in the pattern, where we do have multiple Arctic blasts moving in. We've known about one for a couple of days now. Now there looks to be a follow-up one after it. Both of these will feature pretty darn strong cold fronts along those boundaries and be bringing some heavier rainfall with them. So some pretty intense changes upcoming in the pattern as we move into October. Now, before we get into things, I do need to mention my other business, Prestige Weather. You can find that in the description and the pinned comment down below. We do early access to all of our monthly and seasonal forecasts. We also do weekly consulting calls and other consulting services within our community. So be sure to check it out. It's only $5 a month in the description and the pinned comment down below. As we take a look here at Felipe, we now see that this one is still expected to take that northern turn, but in a strange turn of events. We now expect this one to strengthen up to hurricane status by 8 p.m. on Monday, and that will remain a hurricane through the end of the forecast here, as you can see. The forecast goes all the way till Thursday morning, and we see that it is still expected to be at hurricane status by that point. So this one is expected to intensify now, and this one has been one we've been talking about for multiple days, and likely we're going to still be talking about it for days to come. As we take a look here at Tropical Storm Rina as well, we see this one has 45 mile per hour sustained winds, 5 miles per hour weaker than Felipe. And this one is expected to stay at about tropical storm status until overnight tonight, where it is going to drop down to depression status, afterwards reaching post-tropical cyclone status, so kind of weakening in many different ways, and there is a good chance that Felipe is going to absorb a lot of this storm as they're kind of expected to cross paths a little bit, so it is going to be interesting to see that interaction, but we do expect Rina to come to an end actually here in the coming couple of days. As we take a look at the entire Atlantic, we don't expect much outside of Felipe and Rina for now. Obviously, as we're still just in late September, entering into early October, we do expect to still see some threats along the way, some disturbances developing, so that will be something we'll be watching for very, very soon. As we take a look at the upcoming pattern, we want to just move this towards later on this evening, and you can see that we do have a pretty major storm system here over Utah. This is a 999 millibar low pressure center. Nothing crazy, but it does have far stretching impacts. Some overnight snowfall in the Sierra Nevadas and some of the Rockies is expected. Some rainfall in the lower elevations also as a result of this storm. That is going to be a pretty major one later on tonight. By tomorrow afternoon, what we end up seeing is this drops, or I guess increases to 1,002, but really that's going to be a drop in intensity. And what we see is that this one is bringing some pretty far stretching impacts for not only the Four Corner states, but also into the Rockies and even into the south central regions of Canada. And outside of that, as we look eastward, the only area seeing any sort of activity is going to be down here in Florida, where we do see some isolated and scattered about thunderstorm activity. Again, a pretty common occurrence this time of year. I'm always sure to mention that because that is nothing crazy for them. We do still see some impacts lasting into Monday, October 2nd here. Some snowfall across Utah and Colorado. So certainly, and then even into Wyoming. So we do see some pretty wintry impacts taking place here, as we do have a trough over the west, ridge in the east type pattern that is creating these interesting types of storms for now. As we take a look at Tuesday, October 3rd, during the afternoon, we see a flare-up of a sudden storm, 1,001 millibars. We do have a cold front underneath, warm front up above type dynamics here, and then we see that there is surging warmth in the east, so we're going to continue to see this warmth as we approach the early to midpoint of the week. We do see some snowfall here for Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, Utah taking place, some showery activity around those regions as well, as some sinking cold air is taking place behind that cold front. By the time we reach Wednesday, we see this storm is rapidly intensifying, now at a 995 millibar strength. We do see a cold front underneath, warm front up above still, so we will still see a lot of warmth in the east by the time we're reaching midweek here. So we're taking a look at that. Some cold air sinking down for a lot of the west. As you can see, that is mostly what we're taking a look at. For Thursday here, this is when things start to take aim at the east. We see this warmth building in for the west, so a positive PNA trying to build in. The cold is now sliding southward from the north for the central states. And this cold front underneath this now 982 millibar low pressure center is very, very intense. And we're going to see that cold air move in rapidly right behind that. For Friday, October 6th, we see that things don't look any less intense here as we see this Arctic air moving southward for the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes. Some really, truly cold air moving in. We see the frontal boundary right here, that cold front, and this is just going to continue its way eastward. So this is Friday the 6th, that's Saturday the 7th, and what we see here is a very healthy looking positive PNA with this intense Arctic blast still diving southward and eastward here at this point. Again, positive PNA is keeping things moving towards the east, and we see that jet stream is looking very dramatic. And where we see this sudden north turn of that jet stream, we're seeing a lot of precipitation and activity in here in general. That is pretty typical with these sharp turns in the jet stream. So we see some energy that's a lot more in line with nor'easter type activity. We also have these kind of low pressure systems around where this Arctic air is set up, so we see a lot of low pressure in there as well. And this is all combining to bring a lot of activity along with that colder air. For Sunday, October 8th, what we see is this very, very cold Arctic air is now moving northward. We see a lot of snowfall happening in eastern Canada as a result of this. So yes, this is very truly Arctic air. But we see it follows up with another cooler pattern. As we take a look at the jet stream, this is going to force cold air into the east here. As a result of all of this, and we see pretty far south areas in Canada seeing some snowfall here as a 993 millibar low pressure center is set up over the northeast of the United States and the southeast of Canada there. Still a very positive PNA, warm look out west that is going to continue to basically cause these Arctic blasts to aim towards the east as we approach the 10th. So suddenly October's looking a lot colder than we even originally anticipated. The total precipitation as a result of all of that is kind of looking increased. We see for the upper Midwest and Great Lakes some above average activity. The south, central, and deeper south is seeing quite a bit of above average activity. And then the northeast here seeing that above average activity as well. So we do have some quieter spots like in the Ohio Valley and kind of southeast and mid-Atlantic there where a little bit less activity is expected. And then after this major storm is done, we don't expect anything really in terms of storms for the west, as this positive PNA pattern is going to cause all these storms to move above that area, and we're really going to see a slowdown in those western storms and an uptick in the eastern storms. As we take a look at the temperature pattern, we see this warm up is now beginning, and it really starts to take place Monday, Tuesday timeframe. So what we see is a very negative PNA along the west. It looks very healthy, and you would think that this one is it really has legs to stand on and it's going to last long, but weather is full of surprises, and within days of this point we will see a full flip, maybe even sooner than that. As you can see, I mean, by the 7th here, just a few days later, we can see that a huge positive PNA has now taken over, and this is what's causing this cold air to sink into the central and eastern states for Arctic blast number 1. We see that one is just getting started in the east by time. I'm going to separate these. So here's Arctic blast number 1 underneath here. So we see this right there. And then Arctic blast number 2 is already taking aim at the east already. So we see back to back, and right around the 10th, 11th, 12th, we expect this one to take full control over the east. So certainly a very, very cool pattern from about the 5th through the 10th at least. And I mean, looking at this, we can see that this second one is just moving in. So we do expect this to last at least through the 12th or so. And then we'll have to see if we get a third one, or if maybe this warm air is about to transition eastward. There's a lot of things that can happen after this point that I am curious to look into. But certainly it's going to have to be something that we track over the coming days and weeks. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I think there's exciting times ahead as we're going to start to really feel like cold in or like fall in a hurry. We're going from a pretty average pattern like we've been in, a little bit rainy, a little bit dreary for a lot of folks, and slightly below normal temperatures, to these two major Arctic blasts that are going to send us into the 60s and 50s very quickly. So we do expect very cold times ahead. This looks to be a very cold pattern, at least for the earlier portion of October in the east. And I know a lot of you are looking forward to that, as it's going to be just sweater weather, I would say. Nice weather to get out there, do your fall time activities, bonfire weather, just perfection. And we're in that transition from the heat to the very, very frigid cold. So oftentimes this is a favorite among a lot of people, this type of weather, because it's not quite freezing and it's not hot either. It's that happy medium. But anyway, I hope you guys are looking forward to it. I hope you guys make plans to get out there, because usually this time of year where we have this nice fall weather does not last that long. And as you know, by the time we're reaching November timeframe, we're going to start to talk about cold weather compared to just cooler fall weather. So this is only going to last a little bit, so get out there and enjoy it. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe for more uploads just like this one. We do upload every single day. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload, so you never miss one. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.